odds play a major factor in Devin Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko. Everybody want to make size. You know, they main argument, well, Devin bigger, Devin bigger, Devin bigger. And like I always say, man, it's advantages and it's disadvantages to rehydrating, you know, come weigh-in day. You know, that's just what it is. There's advantages and there's disadvantages. And, you know, him rehydrating a lot, him being younger, the disadvantages are not going to be so much a disadvantage. Because he can bear the weight of the disadvantage more. When you get older, it make you more sluggish. But still, you still more sluggish. You still not as reactive. You know, your reflexes not as reactive as they usually would be. And you still not as fast as you really should be. And, you know, him being big at a weight, you being overly big at a weight and cutting down, you lose every time you continue to cut somewhere you shouldn't be. It's less and less brain, you know, it's less and less fluid in the body, and the body is made up of the majority of water. And he continue to take that water out of his body, that's gonna hurt. So like I said, you know, people say, well, you training for 8, 10, 12 weeks, depending on what it is. You're not going to put all that bodily fluid and nutrients back in 24 hours, 36 hours, whatever it is to fight night. So, you know, overall, we're just talking about the rehydration aspect of it. You know, I think you want to be at a weight that's you comfortable at, you know, and you fast and you reflect, your reflexes is still sharp, you know. I mean, other fights, you know, you're going to take a puncher, you probably going to want to rehydrate a little bit higher and compromise reflexes and all that type of stuff. You're going to want to absorb, be able to absorb the punishment a little bit better. So you got, you know, you got different schools of thoughts and, you know, different fights and different strokes for different folks. But overall, man, a lot of these dudes don't know how to, you know, I tell people say, oh, he's taller, and that don't mean shit. We got a longer reach. That, I mean, today that's a disadvantage. If you don't know how to maintain a distance with your reach, and you know, it's a number of ways, but the ways that a lot of these dudes use their height and their reach today, they use it in an anti-aggressive manner. Meaning they kind of dance with the reach. They move with the reach. And that's fine and dandy, but you have to establish, especially with a pressure fighter like Lomachenko, you have to establish that I can hurt you. You know, you have to come out and hold your ground, and Kingdom Sims did a great job versus Agdamamov, whatever his name is. Excuse me for mispronouncing. He did a great job establishing, you know what? Yeah, I'm a box, but then again, sometimes I'm going to show you I'm the boss in there. And you got to get that reminder. If you constantly boxing and moving on the back foot, you know, as the fight go on, you know, usually what, you know, facts tell us is the power drop off. So you have to establish some fear. You have to establish, like, if you're going to take a chance and slip on the inside or take a chance coming on the inside, I can hurt you. So boxing with your height and your reach, a lot of guys can't do that for 12 rounds, just moving and boxing. At some point, you got to hold your ground and throw a punch. So I'm always an advocate, even if you ain't the biggest puncher, when you fight somebody that loves coming forward like Lomachenko, a pressure fighter, you walk to him, you know, and you use that reach going to him, because if you applying pressure to him and you using that reach to go to him, then he got to do something else. He not accustomed to boxing and winning on the outside. Not saying he can't do that, but it's kind of like, okay, man, I know James Harden like to go left. I'm going to take my chances with him going right. You playing the probability and statistics. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, I know he go left. It's a high chance he going to make it. If he go right, it could be 50-50. Chance he make it, chance he turn it over, chance he get an assist, whatever. You know, he won't finish. You know what I'm saying? So, it's probability and statistics, and I think the best possibility for most guys when you fight somebody in a pressure fighter is to walk to them. Don't let them plant their feet. Don't let them come downhill. Don't let them generate power. So, you know, overall, Devin shown the ability to come out and be the aggressor and be on the front foot. He's shown the ability to box and be slick and hit and don't get hit. And a lot of times that's where kind of Lomachenko kind of tired guys out. You've seen versus Teofimo Lopez. Lopez got tired. He was doing all the punching, and, you know, Lomachenko just was warming up. And when Lomachenko warmed up down the back half of the fight, it was just a little bit too late. But Teo was a sitting duck. Conditioning was an issue for Teofimo Lopez. He was a sitting duck in there. You know? So when you fight a pressure fighter, that's why I said in my prediction video, Devin need to put some money in the bank. He need to touch his body here and there, but you know, Devin seemed to be in a really good condition. But when you cutting that weight like that, especially if you throwing a whole bunch of weight on top of that cut, trying to rehydrate, your conditioning is always going to be iffy. You know, especially as the older you get. So, you know, could size play a factor in this? Absolutely. But I think today it's kind of like a benefit when you a pressure fighter today and fighting somebody with height and reach, because these guys give up the height off the rip. They give it up. They give it up. So, you know, and that's the thing about it. Loma got to be in the chest and get on the inside and work the body. So not only is Devin Haney, you know, longer and bigger, but also he cutting the weight. He cutting the weight that's gonna put him at a disadvantage. You never know when. So, you know, will I think it'll be a huge factor in the fight? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think, you know, I really don't think so. If he was one of those dudes who kind of mauled you like Andre Ward and kind of mauled you like Tyson Fury, and he gonna lay on Lomachenko and elbow him and just rough him up and beat him up, if he was the type of fighter that's a pressure fighter that kind of fought like Williams Zepeda, Jake LaMotta, he fought like that, then I said, well, I would be concerned. But Lomachenko know he got to cut that distance, and he know what he up against, and he know that, you know, he gonna have to come with a body attack. And this is where the amateur, and the amateur experience being too amateurized is what I call it. It hurts because they don't score body shots in the amateur. So that's two things there. What that tell me is you're not used to taking body work, right? And the second thing that tell me is you're not used to going to the body. So you being a professional amateur, them two things lacking. That's why you fight them Cubans, and you know, that's one of the reasons they age and they be in the amateur so long. And that's one of the reasons why shit, you know, they have a hard time adjusting to the pros, because their body not used to the pro style in the body work. They kind of almost two different sports. But ultimately, I don't think Devin Haney, I think what kind of evens this out, but let me say this first, cut my own self off. I don't think Devin Haney uses his style to impose his physicality, his weight advantage. His reach will be a problem. But I figured Lomachenko already knew that, and he gonna find a way to cut this. I've never really seen Lomachenko struggle with reach. I think it's easy for him to fight a bigger target and break him down. He figured it out with Jermaine Ortiz, a little struggle there. He figured out with Masayoshi Nakatani. I know they're not Devin Haney, but I think what kind of negates the size advantage as far as the girth, the brute, the weight, the actual mass, is the fact that he making the weight cut that's hurting Devin Haney. That evens it up. It's depleting Devin Haney's leg. You can tell, look at Devin Haney. When he punch, he don't have the sturdiest legs. And they trying to do these deadlifts, and they doing weights for his legs, but naturally white people are more bottom heavy than black people. Now, like I said before, we all mixed up over here. He's another like Deontay White. He's top heavy. So when he cutting his weight, a lot of his cut is coming from the lower body. You can tell. You know? So, you know, if I was probably just thinking about his strength and conditioning program, this is outside looking in, and it's hard, and he probably want to pre-camp doing this. You probably want to get him in the gym doing two leg days a week. And that's hard. And then on the upper body, I would just subject him to pull-ups, dips, and just natural body weight, no vest, no nothing. But when I hit them legs, he would be going heavy on the squats, heavy on the deadlifts, heavy on all that. I'm trying to put as much weight on that lower body as I can, but it's hard because naturally his cut, you can tell, is coming from the legs. So he's not as sturdy. You can tell when he fight, you can see when Deontay Wilder put that weight on versus Tyson Fury in the second fight, he wasn't sturdy. He was all wibbly wobbly, so you can tell Devin Haney most of that cut is hurting him in the legs. So he wibbly wobbly, he not as sturdy as he should be. So to me, the cut hurting him in the legs, and then it's hurting his conditioning, therefore not having the legs is hurting his power. You can just tell the base is everything. To me, that kind of even the shit out. Lomachenko probably eating pretty much, when he won, I seen the blood, sweat, and tears, a little bit of it, the second episode where they said, well, he eats all the way up to the weigh-in. But Lomachenko making the weight that's natural for him. Yeah, he's making the weight that's natural for him. So, I just think it's even at that point. And I think if you say, well, if size does become a play, it's probably going to be because Lomachenko is going to continue to get old overnight. And it's going to look like size, but I don't see size being a factor. I see the reach kind of, being a more factor than the actual mass. Because Devin is killing himself to make the weight. Loma, from what we see, make the weight easy. Could age become a factor for Lomachenko? It could be. But I think Lomachenko, if he continues to get old overnight, I think that's more of a factor than the actual weight. But out of all the mass and all that shit even. Only thing that worries you, as far, other than the age of Lomachenko, is the reach of Devin Haney. And if Devin Haney was smart in this fight, and you really believe this dude is an old man, you jump on him right off the rip, and you do it intelligently. But I think the number one thing that you want to establish outside of the jab, you want to hit him everywhere. I remember John David Jackson telling Kovalev when they coaching against Bernard Hopkins, he's an old man, hit him everywhere. And I think, I'm going to do a short on this too. The 3 keys to success for Devin Haney, 3 of the, keys that nobody think about is pressuring Lomachenko, hit Lomachenko everywhere, elbows, shoulders, and everything. And the third one that you probably not going to hear a lot of people talk about, Lomachenko being a professional amateur, you can look at his body. His body is soft. They're not used to taking body punches. Devin Haney needs somewhat of a consistent, not saying it has to be a volume of body attack, but somewhat consistent body attack. And Loma don't like them body punches. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button. It's the bell icon button. Hit the link tree. Don't forget to check out my prediction video. I'll put it in the card. I might put it at the end screen. I'll pin it in the on Twitter for the week. And I put it on Instagram story. But hey, hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, TikTok. Appreciate everybody support me on TikTok. All my information's there, man. In the link tree. Want to support the channel? Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo, CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Shout out to Vinny Ochoa for donating last week, and Raji. I'm gonna call you Randy. I'm gonna call you Raji, but it's Ranji. Donating last week. Peace.